We have got the awesome Whale Capper, who knows so much about tennis betting, has been with us now for a few years, covering mainly the Grand Slams with us. But we also have a brand new shiny guest called Snice. Snice Master is his Twitter handle if you want to give him a follow. But Snice Master, welcome to the show. And you said that the Roland Garros, the French Open, is your very favourite. Why would that be?
Indeed. Thank you for having me, first of all. We've been following the show for a long time, so it's an honor to be on it and be able to contribute. Well, the Roland Garros is the pinnacle of the clay season, and I've always loved clay tennis above everything. You know, the long, grueling rallies, the crisp sound of the clay when you slide desperately get a ball. You know, that moment when just the crowd goes silent and then just erupts in euphoria after an epic point. Like, those are the kind of charms and the kind of tennis you don't really see anywhere else but on clay.
Yeah. Would you echo that, Whale Capper, from your where are you? Where are you today?
Yeah.
Whale Capper.
I'm in the South Pacific on the island of Bora Bora, and tail end of my vacation, I came down to do some diving and some sailing, and it's been absolutely spectacular. More beautiful here than I ever could have imagined, yeah, so it's been a pretty spectacular vacation, but I'm itching to get back to it and get tapping some French Open next week. It's going to be fantastic. So perfect time to take a little week off right before we get into the. Well, I agree with Snice. This is probably my favorite of the. It's tough. It's a toss up with Wimbledon. Wimbledon is for the spectacle is so cool, but the way that the clay season, like the arc of it. And following, you know, from Monte Carlo through all of the other clay tournaments and ending with Roland Garros, it's a really nice kind of, 2-month, evolution. And it's a ton of fun to watch, and it makes handicapping this tournament a lot of fun. And if I look year over year at my performance in betting tennis, by far and away, I do the best at Roland Garros. And I think a lot of that is lent to that you kind of learn a lot about with players and their form and how they match up with each other in the run up to it. And a lot of people who are betting this market aren't watching, you know, the Barcelona Open or the, Easterol Open. And so if you've kind of gotten a chance to see how some of these players match up with each other in some of the kind of the second tier clay tournaments in the run up, you've got kind of an advantage in your pocket. And so I think that really helps us out a lot in terms of the match by match handicapping. Plus, clay tennis is fun to watch. I completely agree with Snice. It's more. It's more about endurance and grinding out some of these points than it is about power and hitting winners, and that makes it a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, well, there is just one king of clay, and obviously we've started as well to look into the tournaments running up to the Grand Slams, and obviously Rafa Nadal, he's coming now to try and win his 12th French Open title. Won Rome, obviously, on clay. Can anyone stop Rafa Nadal? Whale Capper.
I think there's really only two people in this field who can beat him on this court, on this surface, and I give both of them a fighting chance, but not an especially likelihood. Dominic Thiem has a shot to beat him. He's played him here now twice, and he's gotten to get a feel for what it takes to beat Rafa Nadal. Rafa Nadal this season has not looked nearly as powerful or as dominant in the last two seasons, and it's not particularly close. He could be carrying the leftovers of some of the injuries he was dealing with through the hard court season. He just won his first title in all of the clay season in Rome, a week ago, which is wild because usually we're sitting here counting, oh man, he's won everything in the run up. This year he just managed to scrap out one title, and he did it in an impressive fashion because he beat the other player in the field who has a shot at beating him, in Novak Djokovic. But Nadal was given virtually a free pass to the semifinals. His draw is phenomenally easy. Like, both Thiem and Djokovic sit in the top half, so he's not going to have to play either of those guys to get to the final. Those two look likely to meet in the other semifinal if I had to handicap the entire way that the draw breaks down. And that looks like an absolute bloodbath, drag out, knockdown. Those two guys are going to really hurt each other badly to get to the final. And you could then run up against a relatively fresh Nadal. I think it's fair to leave Nadal as the clear tournament favorite. But I'm hopeful that there's some drama in the final this year because we haven't seen it in the last couple of years. It's been a pretty bad final.
Well, so the question is then, so it really does look like it's Nadal to lose. Odds of 2 right now, Snide. Should we all jump on that? Would you say that there's no value in that? Should we play some long shot bets on the men's outrights?
As Whale Capper said, the King of Clay is back. There were some doubts to his dominance over the clay courts because he started off the season, he lost 3 straight semifinals, which is very uncharacteristic of him, and he played uncharacteristically poor. He lost against Fognini in Monte Carlo, and he said that was the worst clay match he's played in 14 years. So there were definitely some doubts, but he proved them wrong in Rome. I think he totaled 4 bagels, including one against Djokovic in the final, and that has never happened before in their entire history. 142 sets of tennis, and that was the first bagel. So he won Rome convincingly, and that historically means that you have a pretty good chance of doing well in Roland Garros. And also, as Whale Capper said, the draw is very, very, very easy for Nadal this year. He's facing 2 qualifiers in a row to start off the tournament, and it looks like almost like a cakewalk for him. But to answer your question of the outright, the price is heading down, and I think you'd actually get more money rolling over the money line in each of his matches than you would at this point, because it's even under even money, I think. So at this point, I think if you can't get evens or above, I think you should play his money line.
I agree with you. I agree with you there. Now, there's quite a bit of value if you did want to look at some long shot bets. Obviously, FedEx now coming back following a 4-year absence. He's quite a favourite amongst the fans. How well do you think he'll fare this year? It's nice.
I mean, it's always tough for Federer because just clay is grueling. It's very tough on the body. This is a best slam, so it's best of 5. He did look good acclimatizing to clay again, even though he's had this long layoff. But I think it will be tough for him. I mean, obviously, he's not getting any younger. He's 37 years old this year. But he has some time to get going. He's faced a pretty, slow start of a draw. He's going to face Sonego in the first round, then Gisiro the qualifier, then most likely Berrettini. So he has some time to get going. But then he's going to run into, Tsitsipas, Nadal in the semis, and I think it ends there for him.
I think so as well. I know, Whale Capper, that you do like the outrights. You do like to hold a few tickets. You do like a few long shots. In this case, obviously with Nadal firm favourites, is that the case? Have you made a play on a few of the long shots, or are you holding off?
Yeah, I have not yet. The only one of the particularly long shots that I see any potential value in is Felix Auger-Aliassime. His game is pretty spectacular on clay. He kind of showed some fatigue early in the clay swing, which really led to some underwhelming results from him in the clay swing overall. But he's gotten some rest. He's gotten his legs under him, and lo and behold, it looks like he's going to pick up another title this week, which is pretty phenomenal and worthy of kind of keeping an eye on this kid, because he does look like the future of tennis. And maybe not next year, maybe not in 2 years, but in 5 years, I wouldn't at all be surprised if he's kind of one of the premier players on tour. And his price is pretty long still for a guy who has the youth, who can when you have young, fresh legs, you can play more best of 5 tennis in general. You should be able to, at least, and that should help him a lot. But really, of the guys that I had circled for potential long shots to look to back, all kind of ended up with really poor draws. So I was pretty frustrated. So I don't have any 100-to-1 tickets or anything like that I think are worthy on the men's side kind of have in your back pocket. I've personally backed the Dominic team earlier in the clay swing at 9-1, and I got more at 8-1, and those prices have come down a little bit. I was expecting them to come down more, but he underwhelmed in Rome, he underwhelmed in Madrid, and people have kind of forgotten about how dominant his performance over Nadal was in Barcelona, and I think that's a good bellwether for the type of performance we'll see from him at Roland Garros. And I think, I do think he's alive to make the final. The question is, if he's tired in the final, what is his shot against Nadal? And it's not going to be great. So
Yeah.
I'm holding those 8 to 9-1 tickets in my pocket, expecting him to make the final. And then in that case, unloading on Nadal on the other side at a reasonable price, like say -300 or something like that. Maybe 1 point, what is that? 1.4, 1.5, so, something like that is where I think we'll see Nadal's money line in the final, and I think I'll probably come back a lot on that and just kind of kick my feet up and enjoy the final.
Very nice, very nice. Obviously, well, the draw was recently announced, so we've got a lot of betting markets to win their quarter, things like that on the men's side. It's nice. Are you holding any tickets right now that you want to share?
On the quarters or outright in general?
Oh, and anything, if it's on the outright or quarters, what have you taken at this point?
Yeah, obviously the draws were announced yesterday. A long shot that I think has a go here is Juan Martín del Potro. He recently came back from a knee injury, and he looked a lot better than I thought he would. I thought he would look rusty, but he pushed Djokovic very, very hard in Rome. And with his thundering ground strokes, he always has a chance. And particularly on the backhand side, that has been weaker recently because he's had so many wrist injuries throughout the years. But that looked powerful as well. So if he's fit and if he can go through the best of fives, I think he has a shot of taking down the team in the quarterfinals. So I'm sitting on a long shot of Juan Martín del Potro. You can get that at 76 times your money. That's plus 7,500 or 75-1.
Very nice indeed. And what about sort of like the other bets as well? Like I sort of mentioned, I'll just sort of bring them up as well. Players name the finalists, the winner of the first quarter, second quarter, and so on. Any of those caught your eye right now? No worries if not. The draw was only announced yesterday.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I looked at the theme quarter, and theme is 190. That's like minus 110 to win his. Yeah. And I think that could be a route to go. But me personally, I think he may run into trouble with Del Potro. But if you don't think Del Potro will hold up, I would advise you to get on team to win his quarter. Because if he doesn't fall to Del Potro, I don't see how he loses. Yeah.
What about you, Whale Capper?
Yeah. I think I agree with those sentiments. Del Potro did look a lot better in Rome than I expected. I thought he was going to win that. He should have won that match against Djokovic. That was in his hands in that tiebreak, and he didn't quite, finish the job there and let it slip through his fingers. But I do worry about his conditioning, and guys like Del Potro, guys like Federer, they are not here to win this tournament. They are here to accrue points. So that they can get better seating for Wimbledon, better seating for the U.S. Open, a little bit of a paycheck, a bump from their sponsors. They're not here with with eyes for the cup. So I don't, if the going gets tough, then they kind of go out at that point. And a guy like Federer is priced, pretty generously, I feel like, to win the third quarter. I don't know if he beats a player like Tsitsipas. I don't know if he beats. I got to get going pretty soon. Sorry. I got to get going. But best of luck, guys. I'll look up for the rest.
All right. Are you up? All right. So listen, I'm just reading a message. It's nice. It says, I think that they think that you are the Shakespeare of tennis with the way that you describe. That was quite a description. Well, listen, moving on now to onto the women's side, and it's in recent years. Obviously, we've had Serena Williams. Obviously, she gave birth, and that kind of really opened up the market quite a lot. Currently, she's priced at 15 with a lot of the favourites there. Other favourites, you've got Simona Halep odds of 5, Kiki Bertens 10. it's quite wide open. So as far as in the past, when we've previewed Grand Slams, we've kind of stayed away from the outrights just because it's so wide open. How have you approached the outrights this time?
Yeah, as you say, Natalie, this time the draw feels wide open. There are a lot of unseeded dangers that are lurking all across the field. And the first thing I noticed here is that the top quarter of this tournament is absolutely loaded. We have 28 Grand Slam titles in the first quarter. We got like the world number one, Naomi Osaka. We got Serena Williams, Maria Sakkari, Victoria Azarenka, Yelena Ostapenko, just to name a few. So anyway, for that quarter, that's murder's row already. So just looking at the outrights, it'll be tough for anyone, I think, from that first quarter to make it really far, just because they'll just eliminate each other, I feel. So what I've done is that I've looked at what I feel are the best players. And right now, I would say that that's Simona Halep. She's still the player to beat on clay. That's her favorite surface.
Yeah.
Conditioning, her defensive tennis, just everything plays into her strengths. So I feel that it will be very tough to beat her. But she is flying solo this year. She quit her cooperation with her coach, Darren Cahill, last year. And you saw how much he meant to her because she ran up to the stands to give him a bear hug after she won Roland Garros last year. It was her first title, Roland Garros, her first Grand Slam. So mentally, is she there? I don't know. But at 5.5, I have gone ahead and played Halep.
All right. And who do you think she'll be faced with in the finals?
I think that will be Kiki Bertens. She's having a career year this year. She's up to career high ranking of world number 4. She's reached the semifinals in both Stuttgart and Rome, and she won the Madrid title over Simona Halep in the final. And she plays superbly on clay. She has a huge serve, moves well, very good at the net, and she came close in 2016. Came to the semifinals here, and she's been drawn in the opposite quarter of Halep. So I think she will be the finalist. So I think we'll have Halep versus Bertens in the final.
Okay.
So I've actually gone ahead and taken her as well.
Ooh.
And as you said, that's 10 times the money plus 900, 9-1.
Yeah. And why is Serena priced at 15? I think that's like the longest I've ever seen her priced. Normally, even when she was back from her maternity leave, she was still one of the favourites. But everyone was saying that the value was not there, do not back. But at 15, surely do you think she's worth a bet?
I actually have to disappoint you there. I do not think she is. And why? It's because she's struggling with her fitness right now. Obviously, if she was fit, you can never count out Serena Williams. She's gunning for that 24th Grand Slam title, the record-tying 24th. But she's struggled for fitness post her maternity leave.
Yeah.
She's withdrawn from 3 of her last 4 tournaments this year. She hasn't played back-to-back matches, I think, if I can remember correctly. And she was seen in a wheelchair here in Paris on a picture just like a few days ago. So that's very, very, very concerning.
Wow.
And along with that killer draw, where she's projected to play Osaka in the quarterfinals, along with a lot of dangerous names, I don't think there's any value in backing her this year, unfortunately.
Yeah. All right, we're going to have to wrap up this segment very shortly, but very quickly, obviously, starts on Sunday, Roland Garros. Have you made any match bets right now that you want to share with us?
Just quickly, I'm just going to point out that I did go ahead and place a long shot bet. I'm on Marketa Vondrosova for 41 times your money, plus 4,000, 40-1.
Wow.
She's one of the dark horses in the lower quarter, the last quarter, and she's gone 22-6 on the year. Quarterfinals in both Indian Wells, Miami, quarterfinal in Rome. She reached a final in Istanbul and Budapest, and I think she's going to have a breakthrough run here. And also, I'm seeing a question of Kiki Mladenovic. I would have included her. Whale Capper went crazy over her last week. He was like 91-1. But that price is unfortunately gone now. and so I did have a sneak peek on the first few bets for round one. Starts on Sunday. And nothing serious right now, but I've gone ahead and done a moneyline parlay for Christian Garin, Juan Martín del Potro, and Roger Federer.
Ooh.
If you parlay them together, you get 2.01, 101. That's pretty much 1-to-1.
Yeah.
And I've gone ahead and placed that with 3 units. And then on the WTA side, I've gone ahead and done a moneyline parlay with Garbine Muguruza and Petra Martic, and that's available at 1.72 minus 139, or 7-10 approximately.
Yeah.
And I'll be tweeting out all the bets I make for the tournament, so be sure to follow me at Snizemaster on Twitter, and I'll type that down in the chat as well.
Yeah, type that down. And hopefully as well, you're going to be on some more videos with us. This isn't the last week. This will be the first we've seen of you for many videos. So we've got next week, and then you can come back on, and we'll continue chatting. But yeah, it's at Snizemaster. I'll type that in as well, because I'm not sure, sometimes it will come out. That's Snizemaster. And talking of, because you're obviously doing the ACCA bets, I've just also put a link as well to Alex from Need for Tips. He's done an article for us over at ozmarket.com. For his parlay ACCA bets as well for the first round. He'll be doing that for every single round. You know how good Alex is of his ACCAs, so make sure you give that a read. But big thank you and lovely to meet you, Sniz, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Glad to be here. See you soon.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.